Hello, you've reached Christian-Apologist.com, and this is S.J. Thomason.
Hey, it's S.J. Thingamydoo again. Well, let's see what you got this time.
The first question is a little long, so hang on for a second and let me explain. Despite the culture or era, sane humans have the innate sense of what's right and what's wrong, and we prefer to do what's right to help our fellow humans.
Didn't you already ask this one in your last video?
No matter the major religion, we are all aware of the golden rule. We prefer the humble over the braggarts, the selfless over the selfish, and the truthful over the liars. Cross-cultural scholars, such as Gert Hofstede, Fons Trompenaars, Robert House, and Shalom Schwartz, have found that societies vary in ways inconsistent with our innate morality. For example, not all societies are considered collective or cooperative. Collective societies are in Asia, Northern Europe, the Arab region, Africa, and South America. Highly individualistic societies are in Western Europe, the United States, and Canada. Many societies in the world are hedonistic, hierarchical, and have preferences against gender egalitarianism. So, what we ought to do is often inconsistent with what we are doing. How do we know what we ought to do? How do we know it's right to help the needy, feed the poor, and act in a cooperative way? Evolutionary biologists have made observations to show that cooperative societies were better poised for survival, and over thousands of years in the distant past, groups have fared better than individuals. Yet even in historical times, we have examples of highly individualist and highly successful societies, such as those in ancient Greece and Rome. Cooperative societies over the past couple of thousand years have not necessarily been better positioned for survival, because it has been shown that individualism is more beneficial in some ways. For example, a multitude of global studies have correlated gross domestic product with individualism. Individualism also corresponds with capitalism, innovation, and entrepreneurship. So why do even individualists know that we ought to help the weak, feed the poor, and be honest, just, empathetic, and loving? Why is it that all societies, regardless of their practices, know what we ought to do?
There we go.
Where do we get this moral compass?
Because even individualist societies know that there must be a framework for those individuals to be individual in. You wouldn't be able to have high-flying lawyers if there weren't courts of law for them to practice in, and clients for them to practice law for. You wouldn't have great works of art if there was no one to make the paint first. Even highly independent individuals need things from others sometimes.
2. What accounts for the empty tomb and the resurrection appearances of Jesus?
Who gives a shit? I certainly don't.
Roman pagans, Jews, and Christians in Jesus' time have all indicated that Jesus' empty tomb was found by second-class women. In fact, Paul stated that 500 people witnessed Jesus over the next 40 days after he rose from the dead. Many biblical and extra-biblical sources have indicated that early Christians preached illegally for the first few hundred years in support of Jesus. They preached for decades, braving beatings, stoning, crucifixions, beheadings, and some were burned to death.
Got any corroboration of that outside of what Paul said?
3. If an atheist's position is that the universe is the product of chance and necessity instead of the product of intelligence, how can he or she explain the fact that the universe is structured rationally, logically, and with mathematical precision and predictability? Pope Benedict XVI said, "If nature is really structured with a mathematical language, and mathematics invented by man can manage to understand it, this demonstrates something extraordinary. The objective structure of the universe and the intellectual structure of the human being coincide."
Of course they do. Human beings exist within the universe, and their mathematical structures are designed to categorize the universe as it exists. The universe only appears to be so predictable and structured because we have put that structure in place to understand it. Come on, Pope Bendy, get it together.
4. If atheists adhere to the belief that the purpose of human life is merely to procreate and survive, is it possible to determine that human life has any more value than animal life, since animals share the same basic purpose?
It doesn't inherently. As a badger, I'd argue it doesn't at all, as you lot keep killing my lot. As it's humans you're talking about, they're the ones whose value system you're using.
5. Why have so many atheists determined that the life of a fetus in the mother's womb is less valuable than the life of his or her mother? What standard do they use to value human life?
Fetus in the womb does not yet have the capacity to be conscious, therefore does not experience pain and suffering, whereas its mother does. Well, these questions are more interesting than the first lot, but still more difficult. Thanks for watching, everyone.
All right, I can see